So, here I am today, not to talk about what I have done, but it's more about how many times I have failed in my life, and how much just role I had in the past. But before I start my story, I will just show you a book people talk about self-help so far. I wrote a book today and about 4 weeks around my best friends read me this book. The title is yours, one word sorry to advertise the books right here in the back of the book. The writer say and question and challenge yourself. If you use one single word to describe your whole life, the meaning of your life, the title to your life, what would that word be? And he continued, I'm sure many of you here will not have the answer yet. Is it true? Yes, but things have come when I read that question about 4 weeks ago. 2 minutes later, and said, "Oh, I found my it came so many, so it came so instantly." And I started to respect for my test talk today, and I look at my whole life, 42 years of living on this earth, working as a teacher for nearly 20 years. And I started to look at everything I have run across. And so that's what I'm going to share with you. I have my keyword here, but I'm not going to show until the end. I will catch that a series and I want you to walk through story in my life and hopefully you find out why I came to realize the purpose of my life and I want to share with you that. So sorry, okay. I was born into a family of 6 children, 5 boys and 1 girl, in a very remote area in a long province. In the 1970s, life was just so struggle for many people and just rising up 6 children in a family had huge struggle for my parents. Plus, my father used to work for the U.S. Navy before 1975. And so like in the 70s were little big it's called at that time and everybody in my village at that time. People stopped going to school. All of the kids would just stay at home and help with the family. And so being born into that family, the first thing I experienced was actually I had a very scary life. So much fun is a try in the field with the buffalo with no rain. But it also the first moment in my life I started to experience the feeling of shameful, the feeling of being discriminated because you are poor. And I started to see tears from my mom eyes every time. She could experience the feeling of being looked not for her children. And that's now I started to realize what it means to raise a child and to become successful right at that time. But my life at that time was so wild until the age of surprise something terrible happened to me. My parents sent me to school. I have long days just playing with my friends and I enjoy more in the field rather than in the school. But I could not understand. In the middle of the village there were everybody cares more about food and sport. My father was very committed to education. And I cannot remember how many times he asked everybody in the family to sit down in the evening with the online in the middle in 1980, and he keeps reminding us about what would happen if we decide to quit school. The first thing we would do is to get everybody out going to school. So he was very committed and it's still a very serious to me now like where the idea came from. It hits everybody else, even it's my family drawing around education. So being in that situation and in that context, I learned the first lesson of being grateful commit father in my life. But then I know that I could not escape from education. I refer sometimes I feel jealous with other kids in my village because they have long day playing. I satisfy half of my day at school, not enjoying. To be honest, sorry, teacher. And then I become a teacher right in Trixie. But my life went on to secondary school and in high school very quiet. That's the only thing I could do is to stay focused. I was very obedient at that time, just listening to my parents and my teacher all the time. I tried to study hard strenuously. The best score I got in high school were 6.72. I could never be a good student in high school, even I know that I have tried a lot. I was so bad in high school. But I did start to feel that I enjoy small school, and this is also displayed. At school, I started to experience what people call fail. At the end of year 12, university exam, I failed first year. Interestingly, I didn't feel sad, not disappointed, but I began to see in the eyes of people who love me and who want the best for my life. The look of disappointment and small expectation drew me, so I feel sad for today. Has my bloggers drawing special spending on years reviewing the lesson, checking the exam the second year, and looking as far as becoming a student at the university. But I had to work around right on the first day I stepped into the university. I was among 255 students at university at that time, not understanding a word of English. And so in the first month of the university, many times I have thought about writing university drawings back home, like it is a partner bride. But then I feel so lucky at that time to have one of my teacher at the university. He understood on the scholarly process the student about he sat down, faithfully explaining, encouraging, and supporting. So we overcame the problem thanks to that teacher. That's the second person that I feel so grateful to in my life. And on I could do my 4 year was to stay focused. I never consider myself to be an intelligent person. No playing, no playbooks, no computer at that time, luckily. So after 4 years, reward came. I graduated stop on in my last out of 255 students. It was the biggest achievement ever in my life at that time. After that, I was ready for the position of the university to become a lecturer. Wow, you can fly. Oh, I feel so happy, but I could see the happiness more in my parents' eyes and the people who have trusted me rather than for myself. So if you look around, you see a lot of successful people in life. My success at that time was nothing to on that. But if I put into my position that somebody from a family from a remote area struggling through just as the university as just success at the beginning in the life is so extraordinary, so significant to me at that time. So my journey began here at the university in the past 19.5 years. I began working here in 2001. As a lecturer, the first 5 years for me were amazing. I really enjoy working, and a lot of enjoy came. But then I had a rent, and this time it's even more serious. I have enough knowledge and skill that I learned from university to function as a teacher. but I'm in life so terrible. I look back at my and it's like warm a minute now where in your school and in your life has somebody taught you how to live a root life, how to stand up when you fail, how to behave well with society, and how to be a good person. Not to talk about how to become successful. I didn't have a blue, and many times I fell. I hit my head, bleeding. I could find an answer at that time. How do they live? I started to speak up strong idea. I smart on, become a very competitive, try to work rightly. So to be what I compete for money, for material, for fame, and position. And to some extent, I was successful. I lost remote at the university, but at the same time, I began my business and started to try to buy bills. My own school, I worked crazy for 5 years. And I feel so amazed by achievement I was during this time. But then in the year 2012, I began to hit the biggest war in my life. I lost all sense of meaning about the reason is my student in this life. I started to feel so tired realizing this is not a way. So your life ends. I actually stayed with nobody at that time because I put on myself as the entity, somebody who is right, successful, and I didn't allow myself to play or to complain and to review serious about moment in your life that you feel so weak and you want somebody to share. So, no solution actually. I decided to apply for the scholarship to roll away. More away from comfort zones, and the first 3 months in Australia for me were amazing. Remember the picture that she showed you? I feel like I escaped from noisy life into traffic to somewhere very quiet, very peaceful when I have time and energy to contemplate and to think carefully about my life. And looking back at the time that I have tried for power, success, money, and position, I would say I don't claim this time because it has trained me to become so strong like of worry. But I look at that and say, this world, the most terrible, the darkest time of my life. If I look at how I experienced that, but thanks for me to experience to with the people that have met in my life back in Australia for 4 years. New idea come and the people I have met during this time have taught me so many lessons that I feel like I've just been reborn once more time. That's the time when I actually begin to think more about the meaning of my life and why I'm here. I decided to come back to Vietnam out of fixing, and things become so clear to me about what I want to do for my future. Now, when you started to see the light somewhere about how you arrow into life becomes so easy. Every zero decision I made since then back in the year 2015 becomes so easy to me because I do understand who I am, and every decision I make, I'm able to justify and explain clearly to the people around me. And honest sharing with you in the past 5 years, I have made the biggest number of decisions in my life. I move away from being someone who is more obedient to someone who can stand on my feet by myself, and a lot of the decisions I've made so far seem to despite a little speak from the traditional value and what I sometimes my parents want me to do. But now, because I understand me more and I realize there are lots of things that I need to challenge. Not that don't show the respect to them, but I start to question the meanings for myself and certainty in the past few years. That they realize that I have to live my life to the full, and I started to feel that what is joy and happiness to people. So if you look back and as my life journey is not looking to what I have been doing, you see deep down every step, every success that I felt. I started to realize that somebody play the first step and rest for you to the steps. It can be your families remember you, parents can be your teacher, it can be your friend. And if you observe enough, you started to realize that you should not feel brain of yourself too much. Every time you achieve something in life because you are not alone, you have tried your best, of course. Then underlies every step of success there is somebody who's standing and supporting. And the day I realized how grateful I should be to life. Life becomes so beautiful and fulfilling. And 2 years around I began a new habit, but every day I learned to rest it. Thinking about how grateful I should be every day. 2 minutes at least I was thinking about something or someone I made happiness to in the day that I should feel thankful for. And since then I learned to be more humble. I planned to be more responsible. I learned to care more for others people. I stopped complaining. And I enjoy almost every moment, everything I do in my life. And that is also the time when I start to realize the real happiness in your life actually doesn't come from the moment. The money it doesn't come from the material that you have. Simply doesn't come only about your inner speed for yourself, but it comes from the feeling of sharing and helping other people and seeing that they achieving in their life. And so the world what I have come up with myself in the world boy, and that would be a direction that it will continue to live my life in the future. You might have different understandings of what it means to be the boy, but the word that I want to say in Vietnamese is the word for me. And that is only when you feel that is responsibility to help people and to make them better and to see the people around you by their happiness and success. When you find that you realize feel happy yours and that's long lasting happy. So for the people here nowadays, if you are still struggling to find a way for yourself and you're hitting the one like me in the past, I would highly advise you to do this practice with me every day. Learn to be grateful and hopefully you will see life so beautiful and meaningful to live. Thank you.